Good morning, my friends. It's April 2nd, and I wanted to do a front yard video and just let you see how spring has come to Windermere, Florida. That's Orlando, Central Florida, and how things have changed. This tree has leafed out in just about 2 weeks' time. We've gone from absolutely bare to almost full. And the little swale garden that I had all my pentas, the little volunteer pentas that I've had from all over the yard that I keep bringing out here and planting, they've finally taken off, and you can see they're getting some nice color on them, and they're starting to show some real possibilities. And a couple years ago I had them, and they were just incredible. This was just a blanket. And I did my little hoop fence again this year. These are Crepe Myrtle branches that are just bent over and stuck in the ground. And the funny thing about Crepe Myrtle is that some of them will just stay where they are and not do anything. And you can see, do you see the ones over there that are starting to leaf out? I mean, they could be all Crepe Myrtle starts. Or I could take those branches back and just stick them in the ground. Either way, they make a great little make a great little fence here, don't they? Where if people are walking by and they see it, they stay off my plants and my flowers, and hopefully the dogs will respect the little divider as well. And so you can see the grass looks great. Of course, our grass doesn't die during the winter. Most of it, most people here have St. Augustine grass, and it will stay as long as it's moderately cold, but not severely cold. It'll last on to about 30 degrees. And we had a couple, 3 of those, I think, 3 nights where we got below 32. But I'm just walking around, just want to show you some of the Amaryllis are all blooming. Some of them are in pots, and some of them, this was the apple blossom that came out first and was a beautiful, beautiful bloom, and now she's sending up 2 more. So some of these really will continue to bloom out of one bulb, which I just find absolutely amazing. And as you can see, here's these 2 are Japanese giant mustard greens. Couldn't think of the word for a moment. And they taste like wasabi, and they're just wonderful. About this stage, they're really good raw still. But once they get a lot bigger, they have such a bite to them that you almost need to go ahead and cook them a little bit. Right behind there are 2 Mizuna, Mizuna, and it's a greens that the stems turn. You're supposed to be able to eat it just like this, and they're very good. And I stuck in a Principale Borghese tomato plant in each one, because I figure the greens I'm going to be taking out, and then these tomato plants can just go on. This is a determinate tomato, so it's going to come up, and it's going to hopefully get to a certain size and then bear its fruit, and then that will be it. And then behind that I have my mixed lettuces, both the red and green. And on this side I have some carrots, which are those little Parisian carrots that are supposed to only be about 1 inch long and look like a little nugget. And this is a tricolored Chinese spinach that I've only planted once, and the thing seeds, and it blows seeds everywhere, so I constantly am finding more and more seeds. And just right next to it, that's coleus, so it's very close, but know what you're eating. Right behind here is a cranberry hibiscus, and you can eat the leaves. And then this was a volunteer, and it's an Everglades tomato. And I just thought, oh, I'll just leave it and see if it grows. And son of a gun, look at that. It's just bearing beautifully. I mean, they're so small. You really need a handful for each bite, but I just can't pull it out. It's just, you know, what can I say? I'm a sucker for produce, yeah. And let's see, my gardenia is just starting. It's the funniest thing. It'll have these yellow leaves, and then this part will come out, and it will. I know it needs more iron, but anyway, here's the blooms. It will give me a flush of blooms. There's probably, just looking at it, there's probably about 50 blooms on this. And I don't seem to be able to get the leaves to turn more green. The yellow ones fall off, and I fertilize it with worm castings. I've given it Miracle Grow, the 10-10-10. What can I say? It's been out here for about 3-4 years now, and it does the same thing every season. But it lives on. So and lots more of the Amaryllis, and you can see they're just starting to kind of die back, and it's sending out a few more, but they're the smaller ones. Some of these Amaryllis are in pots. These guys I just took my clay pots and I lined them up behind here so that I could then let them have the rainwater and irrigation water, and as they bloom, then we can enjoy them. They get so heavy, these bloom stalks just get so doggone heavy that they're hard. As I've told you before, when they're in the ground, they can stay up so much better than whenever they're in pots. But they're still so pretty. I can't say no. So, and this is my Crepe Myrtle, and it should be just, you can see it's leafed out. I don't have any blooms on it yet. And my Amaryllis is my azalea is just about finished blooming. Every time we have a rain and it gets fertilized, it will keep blooming, but just not like the original spring bloom. And over here is my peppermint stick balsam. This comes up. This is the second year for it. It completely reseeded itself, and this will grow probably about 15 to 18 inches high. It will have pink blooms on it. The blooms are edible, as are the leaves. So it's a great ground cover, and it seems to be loving this area, because as you remember, this is where my rain comes down. And it comes down, and when it makes this turn, it just splashes everything into here. So that takes care of that area. And what else can I show you? I did want to show you one thing that I think is interesting. For those of you who like my Amaryllis, and that is how they actually seed. They're seed pods. You can tell the difference between the males and the females. Like, this is a female. Do you see these little pods coming out? These will swell. Let me show. I have one that's on the porch. Let me just take you up to the porch. Oh, by the way, this is here's an example of the peppermint balsam, and it seeds itself. You can see it's down here, but look at these seeds. These are little seeds on here, and they'll pop, and you'll see little black seeds inside. Anyway, this is the avocado, and I need to put it in the ground. Here's another. A pretty little thing, isn't it? Pretty little balsam. Okay, let me just show you one. I noticed it this morning, and I thought this is perfect for you to see. See, now there's the female. Let me just take my hand away. There's the female. This will will stay this size. It will then start to darken as the seeds inside mature. I mean, this one doesn't even look like it's worth it, but this one will probably be a viable one that you could get some seeds off of. And when you open these, they're little, they look like little paper, real thin little papers. And this shape, this kind of oval on one side, kind of flatter on the other side shape. And there's like a little seed, a little dot right in the middle of that. It's very cool. I've only saved them 1 year of the 15 years that I've had these. And, but I only saved them 1 year, and I tried growing some. It takes a few years for them to grow. From the seed to the then small little plant, and then I think after about the 3rd year, then they actually start to bulb at the bottom. But I have so many bulbs now. I probably have 100 bulbs. I really, I don't want to start the whole process. But for anybody who would like to, this is what you're looking for, is this guy. And you can see where the bloom has ended. And I can just peel those off. So most of them I will cut right back down here to the ground. And when you do, the interesting thing is all the water that, you know, in physics, the plant still has the ability to keep drawing this up. But when you let air in, then all the water just runs right down. You know, very cool, isn't it? So you can see I still have some Amaryllis growing very nicely here. I always say that, nicely. That's my favorite word. I don't know if I showed you what I was growing along here, and that is my old standard. This just keeps itself going all year long. It will reseed itself. It's Vincas or Impatience. There's an Ixora in there. There's a little bit of Liriope, and I just let it go. But I did replant over here, and I planted 6 of those determinate tomatoes, the Principale Borghese, and then 6 marigolds in between, and then 6 of the Sweet Alyssum with the Purple Lady Bok Choy in the center of it. So I'm hoping that all seems to be taking off just fine. They've been here for a week and a half, something like that. I planted them, and of course the my Bougainvillea are, as always, looking great. They kind of steal the show here. Pretty, aren't they? And I have 7 bulbs planted here, and I see 1, 2 in bloom of the Amaryllis. One's finished. There's another one coming up, and there's a few others. So anyway, that was all I wanted to show you, because I'm trying to work in the backyard and get Juicy Fruit Lane going, and make sure it looks okay. And so anyway, this is 1st of April, and I hope everybody else is starting to see signs of life in their front yard, backyard, side yards, whatever you're doing. And I wish you all well. I hope everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful day. And you'll subscribe and ring the bell and come back and see me again. Take care, you all. Bye-bye.